This has taken a while to do because we've been so busy, but I'm about to take you for a walk around the farm, or the small farm as it is, and then we'll talk about the different issues that I've experienced, and some of the projects and ideas that I've got in mind. So we're going to start off in the kitchen. It's a mess at the moment because I'm busy sorting out the tool room. As you can see, I'm just going through the various tools, and then I'll show you the shed just now and what it looks like. But what I love about this kitchen is all the counter space. So lots of cupboards, lots of counter space for cooking and preserving and things like that. This area is quite a big area. Our dining room table sort of vanishes in it, but I quite like the open space. And just to show you that I have been busy already, I've managed to preserve some lard and some beef stock, so that's a start, which is very exciting. Then over here what we have, this is my craft room, and what we have over here is a fireplace that goes through on both sides, and I really like this because it's built in such a way that you can actually braai on it, you can cook meat on it, and you can also cook using a pot with this hook over here. Well, this hook doesn't move, but you can hang a pot up there and cook. And we've had a few fires already because this weather in the Western Cape's really odd. It kind of goes from blisteringly hot to cool, sometimes quite chilly. So again, this is my office. I'm not going to show you the rest of the house, and it's still a mess because we're still busy unpacking, but basically this is where I'll be working from. And then just going outside, I'm going to take you through some of the water systems. This is a storage area, and Nugget's is a favourite spot, as you can see. He just loves to sit here. Are you happy, Nugget? Are you happy? Okay, so going outside, there's quite a bit of work that needs to be done. But the one thing I want to show you is the way the house was built is that they use a lot of what they call grey water systems. So we've just had this redone because it was broken and the water was spilling down this road here, and we've just had that part done. So things like the bath water, the shower water, the dishwasher water, and the sink waters will go through the various pipes into different sections of the garden. So that one comes over here, and you'll see we'll go into that bed. This is an area that I haven't even started touching yet. There's just so much work involved, but you can see the quality of the sand. It's almost grey, and in some cases quite white. So here is the first cottage, and just next to it is a laundry, which I'll take you through now. I've never had a laundry room before, so that's rather nice. And then over here is my first shed. So this shed has all my animal feeds in it, and it has the pine shavings for the chickens and the hay for the rabbits. Again, it's not too bad, but there is some work, and then behind there are some seed trays that were left behind. So it looks neat. It's not too badly organized, but there is a fair amount of work involved. Now this section over here we've just started to cover with compost and wood chips, just to start bringing some life back to the soil. And I'm turning this into a little sort of like tea garden place where you can sit and have tea and read a book and just be quiet and things like that. Okay, moving on, take you through my laundry room. So this laundry room is quite big, and what I did is I got hold of a second-hand industrial fridge for us to put things like the vegetables and the chickens when we have processed them, to cool them down, because obviously the goal is to grow a lot and then obviously sell a lot. So I figured this was a worthwhile investment. We've also got some of our water storage in here, and my chicken plucker, of course. Okay, moving through to the back garden, you'll see that we've got these pipes again are part of the grey water system. That hole at the bottom there, we need to find another pipe for. That comes from Andrew's cottage. And you can see there's patches of green where the pipes have been sitting for a while and then spewing out the water. but again, lots of work involved. So that's the start of the whole sort of animal enclave, and I'll show you that. That section Andrew's nabbed for himself is going to be growing veggies in there, which I thought was quite cute. And then I'll take you through the rest of that just now, but I wanted to show you the garden. So this is part of the borehole tap system, and I'll show you the borehole later. You have to flip a switch to get the water to the side, and it's quite efficient. The pressure's not bad at all. I have a lemon tree, which is very exciting. And then this section over here was bare ground. So what we did is we planted mealies the first week we were here just to cover it. I didn't want any bare ground, especially considering the blistering heat that we deal with. And apparently January and February are the hottest months here in the Western Cape. So that's been a heck of an adjustment. The fact that we don't have a summer rainfall, although today we had a bit of rainfall, which was lovely. But there's blistering heat, and then some nights it gets really cold, which is interesting. Then over here, I'm going to be cleaning this up and taking these plants out, and then I'm going to plant all my berries along here. So I think that'll make a nice use of that space. Apparently there used to be a greenhouse over here, so I'm not sure if I'll put one back, we'll see. Now to show you my two wonderful helping hands, I don't know how I would do this without Portia or Suku.
Hello!
That's Portia and Suku. So Portia and Suku came with me from Joburg, and what they're doing is they are basically helping me focus on this farm. So what we're doing here is we're putting down compost and wood chips, because it was an open piece of ground that I don't, and as Suku says, there's no, you can't waste space. So we're planting veggies here as well at some point. And then over here we've got a prickly pear tree. So this is a well, not a tree, it's a prickly pear brown cactus, and when the fruit go yellow they are very edible. So it's very interesting to see what kind of recipes I can come up with, because there's quite a few here, so I'm excited about that. You'll also notice that we have got a ton of these palm trees around, and that palm tree issue is something I'll talk about later. Okay, going into the animals. Again, lots and lots of palm trees. The problem with palm trees is that they suck up a lot of water, and I'm not going to be taking a lot of them down right now because it's so hot and we need the shade factor. But just to give you an idea, so I'll tell you the chickens just now. We've got two coops in here. One's got my layers and the other one's got Zane's chickens in, and then I've got my broilers over here in this big one. As you can see, they're all in there, and we'll go inside just now and have a look. And then I've got the rabbits over here under the trees as much as possible with shade cloth, but we're going to change this whole area around. You can see there's just loads and loads of these trees, and there you can see again the quality of the soil. So it's not great soil, but it's also indicative of the area because we're very close to the coastline. So you're going to get that sort of white sand look. Now here we've got this whole covered up aviary with a pond that's not been used, and I'm going to change this all around. I'm going to lift the roof, and I'm going to build a set of coops along this side here, and then have the egg boxes at the end so you can just walk in and pick up the eggs, and then make this whole area a free range area for the chickens, and then have the rabbits at the back under the trees, and it can become a full-on chicken composting system. So I'm excited about that. It'll be a fair amount of work, but I'm going to use the wood from the decking, which I'll explain to you about later. Okay, so this water tank I'm going to be moving to over here, but not quite yet, not sure where, in order to have a ready access system for the chickens and the rabbits in terms of water. And once we've built this, then I'll know exactly where I'm going to put it, but I basically want to put up an automatic water system so that we don't have to spend every day coming in and changing the water out and things like that. So that's the idea for this. Let me show you these chicks. Now what I've done here is I've thrown down compost and wood chips to help absorb all the poop, as well as I've got pine shavings in here, and you can see all the chickens here with the little lamps because it's quite chilly today. But these boys are doing very well. They're 3 weeks old already. In another 3 weeks they'll be ready for eating. But so far we haven't lost a single chicken, which has been great. I'm really thrilled about that. But you can see by the time this is finished, you can see all the poops in that there. This is going to be really fertile, and then I'll take it into the compost piles that I've been building. So here we've got Zane's Golden Lace chickens in here. Just temporary until they move to their new place. And Mama's over there. She's actually broody, but unfortunately we obviously don't have a male, so she's just sitting on eggs at the moment. Come, sweetie, can I have an egg? Come. There's no eggs there, babes. Now what we have here on my layers, I put a tarpaulin over this particular coop because it gets the brunt of the afternoon sun, and man is it hot in here. So I wanted to keep these girls safe. They're brand new. I got them on Friday, and there's 20 of them. We have no eggs yet, it's a bit soon. Probably about another 2 weeks or so and then we'll have eggs. But these are low-hand brown egg layers. You can see they're still quite young. And the same principle, I've put down wood chips and compost so that they can have a good scratch around, and then obviously build up a nice compost pile. When I move them out into the free range area, I'll obviously then put this in my compost. What I've done here is I've put all the feed and stuff into the black dustbin bags or dustbins to keep them protected from the elements and also close to the cages so we don't do a lot of walking around. That's the one thing I've noticed. It's a lot of walking around when you're busy doing different stuff, and so you have to learn to become a little bit more efficient in terms of what you're doing and where you're doing. Over here we have a guava tree that's looking a little bit worse for the wear, again because it wasn't watered. And so we've now started what I've started doing as a temporary solution. You'll see that sprayer and it's over there. I went to a local hardware store and we built up, I explained to the guy what I wanted to get done, because I don't have the funds to put a whole drip irrigation system in yet, and I'm also not sure how and where I'm going to place everything, so I didn't want to go to that investment. So we've put up these sprinkler sprayers that are connected to hose pipes, and I bought a couple of hose pipes and then connected them to each of the taps, so we're not dragging hose pipes around all the time, because that was a mission. And then you had to find the right connections for the tap, and it was just a real pain in the butt. So you'll see that's the start of one, and I'll show you the one in the other veggie patch. Right, and then this is the back end of the man cave, as it's called. This is one of the first things that I noticed when I was looking at the house. This dustbin over here is used for composting. So whatever stuff we've got that's in the garden, we just shove in there, and then later on it gets moved to the garden, the veggie garden itself. Here some of that decking wood that I was talking about that we had to take off because the decking was rotting, and we also had a leak in the pool. So we spent 2 weeks trying to get that resolved. I have some olive trees. I have about 6, but as you can see, the olives are looking a little bit dry. Now I know that normally you would harvest olives in December, so I don't think these are going to come to anything. I just need to do some research. I don't know if it's different because it's a winter rainfall area, and but again, just one of those things I need to look at. Okay, this is the second cottage which Moni and Zane are staying in. Also a lot of work that still needs to be done. Here is part of the borehole setup, and this is a bit of a disaster, to be honest. We've got a leak over there which I'll address at some point, but for now it's giving the birds water. The borehole pump is actually under that brown table over there, and then you would turn it on over there. Now what happens is, actually I'm not quite sure what happens. I just know that we figured out how to make it work in terms of running the hose pipes for now. But there's quite a few connections that apparently are no longer working, and we might have to just redo this whole configuration. And I know that this plug here turns on the taps at the back end, so that's something we've discovered. Now what this is, apart from being an absolute mess at the moment, this is a carport that's covered in sort of like a white shade cloth, and it's very cool during the day. It's also warm, so I'm going to turn this whole area, I'm going to call it the potting shed. It's much bigger than a shed, but it's basically going to become the potting shed or the garden center. And I'm going to have my seedlings germinating here. We have all the irrigation stuff that I brought with me hanging up, as you can see. And it's got a brick floor, which makes it quite nice in terms of stability. So there you can see the whole mess itself. It's a little overwhelming because it always feels like you're just never getting anywhere, but I've set myself a goal that I do at least 1 or 2 major things relating to the outside a day, while still trying to keep up with work and all that sort of stuff. Then what we did when we first moved in, I had a whole lot of pots that I just planted. These plants have literally been just growing for a month, as you can see, just so that we can have some veggies for the chickens, or more specifically for the rabbits. So we've got some curly cow, and then I got given this fig tree by my friend and this olive tree, so that's very cool. I have a peach and a grenadella that I'm going to be planting in the orchard area, which we'll cover just now. Then over here, and I'll show you the before shot. So what we've done here is we've just put down mounds and mounds of compost and wood chips to try and improve the quality of the soil, and we've planted, and you can see that we've got germination. So here, there's some peas coming up. Again, take some time. Now here's something very interesting. This ground, as you'll see by the photograph I shared earlier, was dry like that over there by those palm trees. Ever since I've put down the wood chips, look what's been happening. What this is moles. Lots and lots of little moles that have started to discover all the insects that are now starting to come into the area because of the compost and the wood chips. So they're going to cause a real problem for me at some stage. They can't get under the beds because we've still got cardboard down there, and that would be a deterrent, but at some stage that cardboard's going to disintegrate, and then they're going to come up with my veggies. Now what I've done here is I've started collecting papers and cardboard and that, and I've started making small compost piles, and we will just keep adding to these compost piles between the trees until they're ready. I'm going to build some bins at some point, but for now I just thought I'd do piles, and you can see we've got more cardboard over there. We're busy utilizing all this compost, and once it's gone, we'll turn the remainder of this area into beds. And yesterday we planted potatoes in here to see if we could get a harvest of potatoes, because I found a whole lot of potatoes sprouting in my drawer. Now you can see here, look at this. Lots and lots of mole activity. So it's interesting. Again, this whole row of palm trees, at some point I'm actually going to take them out because they're not critical for shade in terms of the veggie garden, and that whole area is very dry. So what we're going to do in the meantime is we're going to put down compost and wood chips over here, and then at some point I'm going to cut these trees down and turn them into compost. Now what I've done here is there was this old swing set just sitting here, and I thought, well, do I take it out or not? I've in fact converted it into a bird feeder station, and I'll add a few more things because the bird life here is amazing. And then I found this old sort of like bird bath at the back, which we brought to the front, and at some stage I'll have an automatic watering system coming to it, but every day I just fill it up with a 5-litre bottle. And then this is going to be the future orchard, as you can see here. You can see the patches of green grass that's coming from the pipe for the grey water system, which gets moved around, and then of course you forget to move it, and then you have these lovely green patches and then grey. So I'm going to be looking at putting up some sort of irrigation system once I've planned out where I'm going to put all the trees. Again, more palm trees. So those palm trees at the bottom I'm definitely taking out because they're dead, most of them, and I'll just turn them into compost and mulch. And then yeah, just it's quite a lot of work, and I need to get going with the orchard because winter, you're going to plant those trees in winter so that they have time to establish themselves before the summer starts. Of course, giving a winter rainfall area, I'm going to have to do a lot of research on how that impacts that. So here you can see there's a whole lot of weeds growing, and I want to change all of this from grass to a ground cover that includes clover, a couple of other things that will grow properly underneath the trees, and is a bit more natural to the environment. But at the moment I don't know what that's going to be, and would I have to pull up this grass first to do it? Again, just one of those projects that will happen when they can. But as you can see, it's a really nice area and lots to be done. And then we've got that whole patch on the other side, another big patch of grass, which I might do the same, but for now I'm going to be focusing on this area here. Okay, and then that's a view from this side of the house. So now this is the decking that I was talking about. So we had an issue with the pool where we discovered a leak and the pool was emptying out very quickly. And you can see that the decking is actually rotting. So we pulled out half the decking so we could get to the pipes and see what was going on, and we've resolved that issue. But we're still left now with this whole decking issue, and do I replace it with wood, or do I just go for concrete slabs or tiles? That's a decision that I'll have to decide. And then whatever wood is left over from this project, I will use that for the chicken coops. Then this is the man cave, as it's called. There's a big sign in front. It's a lovely entertainment area where you can sit and just enjoy the afternoon or the morning. It's a very pretty area. I want to put herbs and plants on those shelves over there. But yeah, that's pretty much it, and I really appreciate you taking the time to walk through my new homestead with me. I hope you enjoyed the trip. Thanks, Sam.